Okay, Divine Blood is a science fiction slash fantasy setting, speculative fiction set in an alternate history where gods, demons, and other such mythological creatures are real. Um, what you're looking at here is the cover for the first novel. There is one novel and 9 short stories in existence right now. The second novel is planned out, but it is on the docket after the second Bystander novel, which is going to be much shorter than the Divine Blood novel. But I also have plans for 3, possibly 5 more short stories for a total of 14, which I will then put into a compilation. And some of those short stories that are coming out later will only be available in that compilation. Um, uh, I'm also doing a role playing game, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up. It's 300 pages so far. I have to do some polishing. I still have to add a couple things. I'm going to be hitting this like mad around November after I've gotten some other projects done. Um, but yeah, this is. I'm going to go ahead and zoom through it here. As you can see, I have quite a bit written already, and a lot of this has been edited by some of my pre-readers. One of the things I would be doing with some of the money I get from this project is doing a is hiring a full out editor and also hiring a full out uh, formatter so that I can get some of the stuff. But one of the main things I want to do is to get more art. I've already paid about $3,000, maybe closer to 2,000 right now, but I have planned out probably 3,000 um, of art to put into it, and that's still quite a bit low for a role-playing game um, product. I did a Kickstarter that got me $980 last year, um, and that was very helpful. But I'm still draining a lot of my living expenses to do this. I'm going to go ahead and start flipping through some of the art I've got already. This is a map that was done by a friend of mine. I would like to do several maps for like the home's dimension for the demons and the gods, which are created dimensions that they live in. This is the main good guy cast for the first novel, and most of the people that show up in the short stories. Um, this is, and I'm just going to go through here. This is a population rundown. It just sort of hits the fact that the population of people with superpowers in Divine Blood is huge. It it is overwhelmingly higher than Marvel's or DC's number. Roughly 1% of the population has some sort of super ability, close to 1%. The thing is, nobody's aware that the population is that high. Even they themselves aren't aware the population is that high. And part of the reason is that the vast majority of them are civilians. They don't have any superheroing or supervillaining urges. They get up, they go to work or school, they get out of work or school, they relax, they go home, they go to bed, like living like normal people. And that sounds a little bit boring. Um, but but part of the thing is that the populations have gotten complacent. There are very few defenders. There's very few heroes because for the last 100 or 200 or 300 years, there haven't been very many bad guys. There was the World War II, there's Burma, but in general, in a lot of places in the world, life is good and safe, and everybody's getting complacent and thinks that evil and bad things are far, far away. So there's not as many people paying attention, and that includes the gods and the demons, who are not in themselves good or evil. individuals are good or evil, but as a races, they're just races. Um, so yeah, that's just the population thing. And this is one of the major characters. That's Yuji. This is a list. This is a picture of some of the minor races, civilians of the minor races. Um, there's going to be 16 minor races included in the role-playing game book. The novels and short stories mostly focus on the humans, like this picture, and the gods, like this picture, and the demons, whose picture is not here yet. Um, and your games could focus on the heroes, like I do. In my novels, I focus on some of the people that are in the what I call the walled world, which is the people that know about evil and are the heroes, are the ones that they're doing something to to protect the world. That's what this picture is supposed to represent. This is the gods, demons, and humans that are and other races that are trying to protect the world. Um, you can focus on that, and you can have a really serious game, or you can have a really ridiculously silly game. I'm playtesting right now with 3 people, and their other games are like Shadowrun and World of Darkness and stuff like that. So their other games are very dark. So when we do my playtest game for Divine Blood, they mostly do very silly stuff. We had a kind of a Betty and Veronica moment between a she, which is kind of an elf for those who don't know, a she and a vampire woman, the vampire not knowing she's a vampire, uh, fighting over a guy neither one of them is dating, um, who has been flirting with both of them. So we had a Betty and Veronica moment. And despite the fact there's a serious storyline going on in the game, most of the game is silliness and just light being having fun. You can do silliness, you can do serious, you can do grim, you can deal with soldiers, you can deal with uprights, you can deal with the sorcerers. And this is a piece that was done by Fred Perry. I gave the drafts to 3 different artists and asked them to create some characters for me. This is the setup that this is the set that Fred Perry came up with. Um, I find it especially amusing because ravens, as a race, women tend to have multiple husbands. So a male raven with 2 women would be is kind of strange. This is a picture with Avalon's uprights. Avalon is one of the good guy secret societies in the world. They're mostly high tech, but they're connected to the supernatural secret good guy secret society. This is one of the demons from the first novel. She's one of the major good guys in the storylines. Yes, one of the demons is a major good guys. I haven't done much with the major good guy gods yet. I've introduced one. Um, but most of the gods that you see in the first novel are bad guys. They're rogues. They're criminals. And Leela 2's basically a cop for the demons. So, well, spy or cop. This is Waylon. He's part of Avalon. This is a picture for Yuja. I'm just going to skim through this because I don't want to spend all my time just talking about each one. This is a major antagonist from the first novel. If you're having trouble telling what race he is, that's deliberate. Nobody's really sure whether he's white, black, Asian, or whatever. He doesn't say. Um, Ghouls, that's the result of a demonic bioweapon from Mage's past. They don't use it anymore. However, it got away from them. They thought they got it extinct. Dryads, that's the result of a god experiment to help with breeding new races. Um, and these are some pictures from the first novel. This is another incident from the first novel. This picture isn't in there. This was done. I had this commissioned after the fact. This is another one of those pictures done by the artist that I gave the information to. This is Nike. And I'm just going to keep going through here. As you can see, I have lots of art. And most of this has come out of my living expenses. I got help in the total of $980 in the previous Kickstarter. So everything in this Kickstarter is essentially like this character creation example comic that's kind of going through here now came out of that. But everything in this Kickstarter is basically a stretch goal to make it better. My my goal is to make this a really worthwhile product that people will pick it up and want and want it, uh, and will have fun with it. There'll be something that they can play with. They can get together with their friends and play with it over a table, or anything with I like the idea of giving something to people to make their own stories. And on that note, though I am the creator of Divine Blood, I in no way uh, have any problem with somebody deciding, oh, this world is cool. I want to make my own stories in this world. I have no problem with that. I would be at the height of hypocrisy to say, no, you can't do that. That would be the height of hypocrisy. Since the entire story is based off of a series, based off in fanfic to begin with. Um, in fact, if you decide to create a your own Divine Blood novel or short story, I would love to see it and maybe decide. And if you want to make money off of it, more power to you. Um, Definitely would love to see that. I won't ask for a dime. I would ask that you acknowledge that I'm the creator and that you point to my stories. But the world is so full. I'm only focusing on the gods, demons, and humans. The other races in my story are minor parts of the story. I'm dealing with with other issues. So and there's way too even the what part I'm dealing with. I'm looking at heading towards some really major world events in the next 2 or 3 books. Hopefully, I can get to those. Um, and there is just too much going on for me to show it all by myself. So if anybody wants to do their own novels on this, I'm fine with that. I just want to know about them. And I want you to direct people to me to say, hey, this is where this world is coming from. It's kind of like Wild Cards, the shared universe of Wild Cards, or Watley Academy, or anything like that. I'll be easily happy to answer any questions on what the world is like. Anything you might want to ask. Um, and you don't have to use. I'm using Strands of Fate for the rules system for the game. You don't have to. I'm using Strands of Fate purely because I wanted to start with a specific, simple rule system, uh, rather than give some vague explanations of how you could do it in different rule systems. But you could easily do this with Big Eye Small Mouth. You could easily do this with Mutants and Masterminds. You could easily do this setting in Hero System. You could easily do it in Fate Core, which is the other Fate system. And actually, you could easily do it in Freeform, which basically means no rules whatsoever. Just getting together with some friends and typing out your actions or exchanging actions. I like this picture of Asia. That one makes me feel sad. Um, anyway, not all gargoyles have wings, by the way. Um, some of these are concept pieces that might not eventually make it into the novel, or a novel, I mean the role playing game book. And I want to have maps. I want to try to contact the guy who did the critical locations book for D20 and the D20 modern maps. Did some of the Shadow One maps as well, I've heard recently, but I know for sure he did the D20 maps and the D20 future maps. I want to get maps of Yomi. I want to get maps of Nirvana. I want to have pics showing the technologies for the different species, especially the gods, the demons, and the humans. I want to have some action scenes. I want to have some comedy scenes, just some flavor scenes. Um, I want it to be a very, I want to get a formatter so that somebody other than, because I'm not the best formatter. I can come up with content up all over the place, but I'm not the best formatter. I want to get an editor. I want to get professional building the jacket for me. Uh, and all of that will be much easier if I can get help on this Kickstarter. And thank you very much. And I think I will end with Nike. Oh, Nike. Self-aware, situational awareness is a thing. And bye.